and welcome to my kitchen. It is a blistery cold December day. We've got snow a little bit, and we are on day 2 of our Christmas baking challenge that we're doing with ourselves, or I'm doing by myself. Sometimes my son helps me.
What you making?
Today we're making coffee cake cookies.
Can we make red velvet tomorrow?
I don't know. We'll have to look and see.
I want red velvet.
I know you love those. They're on my list, but I'm not sure when we're going to get there. We're not going to just be making cookies. We're going to be making bagels. We're going to be making bread, maybe some candy. It just depends. And I don't plan my videos out. This is just, let's do it, see what we have, and go from there. I know that's probably not very productive, but that's how I work. So, we are making coffee cake cookies. Let's get started. I've got my oven preheating to 350, and these cookies will bake in a oven that works correct. Sorry, my child was just acting kind of goofy. In an oven that works correctly, they will bake between 10 and 12 minutes. My oven and I, we have a love-hate relationship, so I will start checking them at 8 minutes. I have no idea where I found this recipe. I found it online. I saw several people making it. I don't know who came up with this idea. Yes, I see you. But we're going to get started. And so, first off, I need a half a cup of softened butter. And my butter's really soft here. I let it get a little too soft. It's hot in here. I let it get a little too soft. So we are going to put this dough in the fridge for just a few minutes after we get it mixed up. But you want to get all that butter.
Can I mix it?
Well, just wait. I got to get all this butter off of here. All right, put this in over there, please. Okay. And to that, I need to add a half a cup of brown sugar. Let me look. Yes, half a cup of brown sugar. Don't want my maple leaf in there. Okay, half a cup of brown.
Can I do some of the...
Let me look here. I need 1/4 a cup of white sugar here.
Hey, can I?
Yes, 1/4 a cup of white. Just 1 scoop of that. Make sure it's level. Nope, make sure it's level. Like, get the full, and then you just level it down. Like that. Okay, here. Put that in. I need, okay, you don't have to bang it. It's dry. It'll just pop in. No, I don't trust you with this. A teaspoon of vanilla.
Can I sip some vanilla?
No, you're not sipping vanilla. And 1 egg.
Oh, can I?
You get a little crazy with the shell, honey. Okay. Do you know how to put this on?
Yeah.
Line it up and get that on there, please.
I do.
Okay, set it down. Lock the head into place and turn it on. Be sure you scrape your bowl down. Watch out, I'm going to smack you in the head with my elbow, bud. All right. Let this mix for just a few minutes longer. All right, I got my bowl. And now we're going to mix our dry ingredients. And it's, where did my thing go?
Right there.
Nope, right here.
Right there.
Why did you switch my...
I did it.
Okay, I need 2 cups of flour. In here. And then I need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch.
Mm-hmm.
Can you set the cinnamon over on the back behind me, please?
The cinnamon?
Not the cinnamon, I'm sorry, the vanilla.
Why'd you call it cinnamon?
Because I was looking at the cinnamon. You know my brain, it works a little goofy. Set it over there by the brown sugar and stuff. Set this over there out of the way, please.
How old is that?
And then I need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I need 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Get some baking soda here. My box is getting a little empty. I'm going to have to get more. Okay. 1/4 teaspoon. And then I need a 1/2 teaspoon of, or no, I need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. All right. We are going to just kind of mix this together, and then we will slowly add it into our wet ingredients. Straight down your sides, you want to get all that flour mixed in. Okay. This dough is looking really good. It's a little bit crumbly, but not bad. So, let's just get this cleaned off real quick. It's a crumbly, like you see, it's crumbly, but when you press it, it stays together. Okay, so I'll move that. I'm just gonna kind of form this into a ball in the bottom of my bowl here, and then I'm going to cover it and put it in the fridge for a few minutes while I make our crumble topping. Okay. It smells so good. Well, if my plastic will cooperate with me here. All right, this is going to go in the fridge for a few minutes while we get our crumble put together. So this is my own addition. All the recipes I looked at online did not have pecans in their crumble filling, but I like pecans in my coffee cake, so I'm just going to put a few in here, but we're going to dice them up a little bit. I'm just going to put a few in there, not a whole lot. That's about 1/2 cup. I may end up adding more. I'm not sure. Yes, I know it's an old chopper, but it works. My mother-in-law gave this to me a long time ago, and I have used it faithfully for years. So we're just going to give this. So I added a little more nuts, and I had my son chop them up. Now we're going to get started on the crumbly part here. So I need 1 1/4 cups of flour. Cup. And about 1/4 of flour. And then I need 1/4 cup of white sugar. And I need 1/2 cup of brown sugar here. Brown sugar. Pinch of salt. It says 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay. And 6 tablespoons of butter. Let me get this kind of all whisked together here real quick. And then we're going to cut the butter into it. But I'm also going to add my pecans here. I'm just going to measure this out because it's roughly about 3/4 of a cup of pecans here. Get all that inside there. Okay. Yeah, I diced up about 3/4 of a cup of pecans. Just because I like pecans in my coffee cake. So we're gonna mix that together. Now I need 6 tablespoons 1, 2, 5, and 6. Okay. I'm going to actually kind of just crumble these up with my fingers as I put them in. If you use a slightly, this butter, it's been out, but not out quite long enough. So if you use a slightly softer butter, or some recipes called for a melted butter, I don't know, melted might have worked better, but I'm doing it this way. We'll see. It's the great thing about baking. You can try different things each time you bake. All right, I'm going to take and just kind of get this all cut in here together. Okay, this is all crumbly. Look at this, all nice and crumbly, with the butter all worked in there. All right. I've got my baking sheet lined with parchment paper. I just pulled my dough out of the refrigerator. So I'm going to take my scoop here, just kind of scoop it up, plop it out, and make a ball. I might do this over my cookie bowl because this, like I said, is a pretty crumbly dough. Okay. Nice little ball. I'm going to place them on here. You want a couple inches in between each ball so that they have room to spread and grow. You just want to work them together so that they stick together, because we're going to have to make a little impression and then fill it with the filling. So now we're going to take a spoon and just press out a little imprint in your cookie here. Actually, I think I'm going to take this, and maybe this will just smash it out. Oh yeah, that works much better. Just kind of make sure you want to make a little well in your cookie. My phone's doing weird things here. You want to be able to fill it but not have it split open. Oh yeah, this is working better. You just kind of have to work with it. Make sure your cookie doesn't fall apart. See, you're just making an opening here. Okay, I've got all of my little wells made. So now we are going to take our crumble mix and start filling them up. You want to bring it kind of level. And it's okay if some spills out. You're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I think the crumble mix made plenty. I may have enough extra to do an actual coffee cake. I'll just wrap it up and put it in a container and put it in my freezer to use at a later date what I have left over. All right, I'm just filling all these up. All right, these are now ready to go into the oven. Mine is preheated. So I'm going to start checking mine at 8 minutes. But like I said, if you have a oven that actually likes you and works correctly, These can bake 10 to 12 minutes. So let's get these in the oven. These were in the oven for 9.5 minutes. And I'm just gonna pick one up here. See how they got that nice golden. All right, I'm gonna let these cool for about 2 minutes before I put them on the cooling rack. And while they're cooling, I will mix up the powdered sugar. I've transferred these to a wire cooling rack. I set them back on the tray because we are going to drizzle them with a glaze here in a few minutes. And I want the glaze, I don't want it all over my cabinet. But I'm gonna let these cool and then we'll make our glaze. I've got a couple of tablespoons of powdered sugar here. And then I'm just gonna start adding a few drops of milk at a time. So we don't want a whole lot. I don't want a real thin glaze, but I want to be able to drizzle it over the cookie. And you know, when you're making a powdered sugar glaze, just a drop too much milk and it makes it way super runny. My cookies have cooled down and I've got a nice glaze going here. So we're just going to drizzle this across the cookies. You, of course, are going to want your drizzle to dry before you package your cookies up. I'm sure you could use like a royal icing on here if you wanted, if you don't like powdered sugar. And I would definitely recommend cutting your filling mix that down by half because it made plenty. Or if you're doing a double batch of the dough, or even a triple batch of the dough, you could make the amounts it calls for in the drizzle. Or not the drizzle, but the crumble. Alright. These are looking quite delicious here. Oh, my other batch is ready. Let me pull those out of the oven real quick. All right, we are going to try one of these cookies. What do you think? Here, let me have a bite. He says he's not going to share. I guess that means it's pretty good. So I'm going to try one now. I'll try this one. These are good. The dough is kind of like a shortbread. And then you got your filling with that little bit of sweet glaze. These are, excuse me, these are delicious. And I do believe I will be making them again. My husband's going to love them. My son, he already took off with his. So I'm going to have to hide these because they will eat every single one. Thank you for joining me today and happy baking.